I believe in my power, I believe in my style. I think I win. This is different. Different story.
Y el poco respeto que se tenía se perdió porque pasaron la línea. No se puede decir nada.
It's essentially split down the middle in terms of who they think will win the fight, but everyone agrees we have a potential classic on our hands.
Boxing. One of the most difficult and controversial sports to score. One where ultimately every call and decision is subjective. For this reason, over time, bad judging has grown into one of boxing's banes.
They get in the ring, they come out of the ring with less of themselves physically than they had when they went in. And this gets done to them by a bunch of cowards at ringside that never took a punch in their life. I'm sick of it.
Here's to the strongest fighter. Here's to the last survivor.
1 year ago, the controversial draw, not so much stemming from the result itself, but instead from the 118 to 110 scorecard, such a wide margin, in a fight where the vast majority split the two by just a point either side.
It's got my name on.
Worse still, up until the last few months, it seemed like the fans may never get the rematch they deserved. Though now, despite bad blood, cries of corruption, and general uncertainty, it's on.
There's only one last standing. Got my eyes on the ending. There's only one crown. It's got my name on.
A date steeped in history. A date which neither figure will settle for second best. One returns in a bid to restore his image, to put his name back amongst the very best. The other, to settle a score. Golovkin versus Canelo, the rematch. Welcome to a Motivedia production.
They're obviously powerful, but both guys have this animosity towards each other that I feel it's going to be like fight of the decade.
In the sweet science, nothing is written. Even more so for two big hitters at the pinnacle of their craft. Two of the sport's biggest names willing to put everything on the line for the second time. Honorably sticking by his word, Golovkin accepted a rematch in almost immediate fashion, even agreeing to a lesser split in the rematch. However, the plans were torn apart earlier this year when Canelo was temporarily suspended for 2 failed drug tests, showing traces of clenbuterol. Being a result, allegedly, of eating contaminated meat, the fighter was banned for just 6 months, sparking outrage throughout the boxing world.
Should he be banned longer? Yeah. Should he be financially penalised? Absolutely. Like any crime, if there's no punishment, it's going to just encourage people to commit.
Those who believe he cheated in the first encounter expected a smaller, leaner version to appear this time around. However, despite the allegations, the Mexican has looked electric in his open workout sessions, seemingly as big, strong, and sharp as ever. Though a huge blow to his reputation, the uproar could easily take away the shine from a Canelo victory, should he be successful on September 15th.
Historically, the guy who can do more, who has more tricks in his bag, so to speak, they typically do better in the rematch. And that is Canelo in this case. I think Canelo is going to make the adjustment and show a different side and could possibly get his hands raised.
For Golovkin, however, the stakes are much more favorable. Believing he was robbed in the first fight, he can put the only smudge on his record straight. And heading into the twilight of his career, a win against the Golden Boy would put the ultimate shimmer on a truly exceptional career.
think the better fighter of the two is Canelo, but you know, boxing doesn't work that way, and I do think Golovkin will just edge the rematch.
Too many times, the big fights let us down. This can't fail to live up to expectations.
A quick look back at the two. With a relatively short stint in the amateur ranks, Canelo has only 46 fights in a 2-year period, against Golovkin's astounding 345-5 record. However, both boasting over 10 years' experience in the professional game, the draw wouldn't have been too disastrous for either. Canelo was outpointed by a masterful Mayweather 5 years ago, with Erling Lara coming close to putting a second loss on his resume. Whilst we've seen Kell Brook have some success, backed up by Daniel Jacobs against the Kazakh King. Despite Golovkin getting the better of some big names, Canelo's is considered the more stacked resume of the two. Though it's hard to blame Triple G, as he spent over 5 years being the most avoided fighter in the division. On paper, it remains a true pick'em fight. Golovkin's 2-inch height advantage is contrasted to an 8-year age gap against his prime Mexican opponent. Starting slowly last year, before dominating the majority of the middle rounds, the main question going into the rematch will be whether or not Golovkin is slowing with age.
Maybe cut the ring a little bit more than what he did, but there's not much he could change. I think the person that could really improve and do much better is Canelo.
And yet, though he could be less active, we can still expect a couple of things to be very much intact. His power is marked amongst the very best middleweights ever seen. This, and like we saw in the 9th round of the first fight, his chin is freakish.
Huge right hand from Canelo, and Golovkin didn't budge.
Taking a flush overhand right from the Mexican, one which would have rendered most of his opponents unconscious, there's a reason Golovkin has never been down. Though could the rematch play into the hands of the smoother boxer?
Yes, it'll be a reincarnation of Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. You've seen the second fight, right?
Similar to my fight with Kovalev, that fight, other fights like that, when it's a close fight and it goes a certain way, if I had to pick somebody, I would favor him because he can do more.
After all, we can expect Golovkin to press more and Canelo to move more. However, now that Golovkin has succumbed to the big stage, we could see a much faster and dominant start. Though in the Mexican's favor, he seems to improve every time he steps under the bright lights. He knows he can take, or at least deal with, Golovkin's power. And if he can get the last word in every trade-off and stay out of trouble, he could slip and slide his way to a comfortable victory. Though after seeing Triple G regain his taste for blood at the StubHub Center in May,
Hard left hook by Golovkin.
he could bring the big drama show we all know and love.
Big fight. I need a big fight.
With plenty of names in the mix to take on the winner,
Now fight me, we're seeing different stories. You be punching fresh air.
expect both fighters to be looking to send a message to the rest of the middleweight division. More importantly, rather than the interpretation of the 3 ringside judges, we hope to see the ability, sacrifices, and dedication of both men become the story of the rematch.
Everyone is expecting a violent classic.
Golovkin is going to work. Body shot, hard right hand upstairs. Alvarez got a python on that gum shield now, and he got to just swing in those bombs.
Golovkin versus Canelo. Supremacy or legacy?